What's up? What's up? This is SYLABDUL INC here for a special brew edition. Still posted up at Studio X. Just so people know, I got separate questions about this all week. There's like, hey, is this your new setup? Is this your new home? No. I'm out of town right now. I work. My day job is with the Ford, automobile Ford Motor Company. So I work on the warehouse. Sometimes they have shutdowns, right? So I got a couple weeks off. Decided to travel a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna post up in Studio X just for the weekend, plus, and then we'll be back at our home base pretty soon. So shout out to everyone in the chat, as always. Now I know we were saying Mikey Sutton's supposed to be here. He'll be here briefly. We'll get Mikey Sutton here to give his expertise, but we're going to talk a little bit about some numbers, about people misconstruing the data that we're saying out of our mouths, specifically Samba TV. So we'll talk about that. But shout out to everyone in the chat, especially the Patreons who's been supporting the platform. Link is in the description for the Patreon for SYLABDUL INC, SYLABDUL.com. Hardcore production information there, plus a little conversation. And we're going to have some special stuff coming up for the Patreons exclusively real soon. We working on it. We're in the lab. We working on it, y'all. So let's talk about it. So also in the description is the PayPal link for those who supports my channel and platform through that means. Also, YouTube has a super chat as well. So we'll get into that if you throw a comment in there as well. But let's see who's in the chat, because we got a few minutes to burn before Mikey Sutton comes through. And I told Mikey, I was like, take your time, just slide through when you can, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit with these numbers. Jovic, I see you. I see same Sonic, different case. Interesting. The Ghost Who Walks, what's up? Let's see who else we got. I saw D.O. Dub, Patreon D.O. Dub, Double MJ. I see you. The Buck, We Are Venom, Jonathan Henderson, Jurassic Fantastic, what's up? And Ash 79. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Samba TV. Chris 24M watching Justice League right now. I watched it last night. I've been watching it all weekend. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Joseph Roki, I have not seen the UK Times article, to be quite honest, but that may be in the next video. So let's see. Sasa Picante, how reliable is the Geekosity website? Do your research. That's what I'll say. I think that's the first thing I'll say. Like, if you have to ask someone on social media how reliable something is, maybe you should do your research yourself. That's what I do. I don't trust anyone on social media telling me anything. I try to go straight to the sources. So Sasa Picante, I encourage you to do the same. We got as we go forward here, special brew. It's only an official special brew, sort of Trollmakers edition. I don't know. We'll see. But let's get Mikey Sutton himself on the panel.
Well, speaking of the source, right?
I swear your name changes every time. It catches me off guard every time.
That's my intention. Always to keep you on your toes, man.
But hey, that's great. I mean, your mic sounds good, so we'll see if Warner Bros. Lets you talk.
Like exactly. If anything starts to happen again, there are Warner Brothers bugs in my system. So I don't mean Bugs Bunny either.
Oh man, I tell you. So we'll see. We'll see what we do. Well, first off, today, how are you doing this afternoon, Mikey Sutton?
I'm doing great, and I think we should start early in asking this. Let's get Syl to 100 likes today.
See, Mikey put it out there,
and I'll drop some gossip.
So hey, y'all know what to do.
I wouldn't call it a scoop, but it's definitely gossip, and it's definitely an eyebrow raiser. You're gonna want to hear this. So 100 likes. Okay, cool. Actually, you know what? Let's get 200 likes.
Man!
Let's get to 200. Let's see if we can lift 200 pounds today. Let's do it, man.
Mikey said, let's go to 200 likes.
200 likes, man. Let's bring it on.
He's not saying nothing.
Bring it on. Nothing. Go for broke, man. We're going to go for that touchdown, all right? We're going to give the ball a beast mode this time.
I said we're just getting started. We got about 50 in the chat right now. We're just getting warmed up. So hey, everyone in the chat right now, smash that like button. That'll be a good start for Mikey's goal. This is Mikey's goal.
Invite your friends. We're gonna cause a ruckus today as usual.
Interesting.
House party at Phil's today, and
well, at Studio X.
I can't tell if that's a recording studio or a prison.
Well, it's definitely not a prison. I'll say that.
from all the stuff we've been dropping lately.
There's some of everything in here. I tell you, it's like they want to keep me boxed in. You know what I'm saying? But Mikey Sutton, y'all heard what he said. 200 likes. Now Mikey's pretty jazzed up coming in, so I feel it's something worth the effort.
I'm like every day I'm jazzed up. I check out my text messages and I see interesting things there, and I'm like, really? And they calls. And see, I always make sure I get my calls done before I go on your show, just in case anything pops. You never know.
Exactly.
I'll never forget that day that you and I were live, and that new God story came out on the trades. That was so crazy.
All right, because you probably would have had that phone call, if he wasn't live, you probably would have saw that message before you was on stream, because that was an earlier stream.
What I'm hoping for is that one day we're live and all of a sudden Henry Cavill gets announced for Black Adam, like official, We'll both lose our minds,
It's confirmed. So let's address the super chat here with Matt Jarbo's huge dinner plate. What? So $5 super chat. Shout out to Mikey. I don't want to know. He says, "Hey Mikey, got any scoops on MCU Punisher, Mikey? If you want to touch on that, I guess that recent story on Geekosity Mag."
Yeah. So the Punisher will be meeting Spider-Man in his college years. I scooped a few months ago that the Kingpin will be showing up in Spider-Man. When he gets to college, he's gonna start facing some real adult, darker villains, and the Kingpin will be one of them. I'm pretty sure they're gonna recast Vincent from the Daredevil series.
Oh, really?
Can you see another Kingpin at this point? I can't.
That's what I'm saying. But you're saying they're going to recast him?
No, they're not going to recast him. They're not going to.
Okay, got you.
They're going to keep. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
They're going to keep him. I'm pretty sure they will keep him. Yeah.
That's good news.
So that's when I'm hearing the Punisher will show up. And you have Daredevil, coming up as well. But in his college years, he'll still be cracking jokes and everything he usually does. But he's gonna really encounter some real threats. And go through a lot of adulting in college as well. I mean, he's relationship issues with MJ. You're gonna see the Peter Parker love triangle that you used to see in the comic books. It's a very common theme with Peter. In fact, I never brought this up before. If you think about it, Peter Parker is somewhat similar to Archie Andrews. You look at their names even, you know what I mean? But in terms of all the girl trouble they got, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if Stan Lee was inspired by some of the old Archie comics. You have Betty and Veronica fighting over Peter Parker,
Right.
You have Gwen Stacy, you have Mary Jane, so wouldn't be surprised.
Interesting. So shout out to everyone following in right now. Again, our viewer count is getting up. We're starting a little earlier than usual for Special Brew.
Wake up, everybody!
Mikey said 200 likes, so we're trying to climb up there. Now, we'll tell the viewers any given video me and Mikey does, because we have like 40 likes right now. Any given video that we do, we get about 1K views, like different people coming through live. So I'm pretty sure 200 likes is very possible that Mikey put out there. So
we will make it happen. We will make it out there.
So just remind those, especially the mods, and remind people when they come through here, you see a new face in the chat. hey, encourage them to smash that like button. So let's get into with Samba TV. It's been a very hot topic, Mikey.
My bad.
You know, I think now first, like I'm gonna do I don't normally pat myself on the back, but I think I did the first video a few months ago ever with Samba TV live, where they were fielding questions and kind of putting out their data tactics out to people. So it was pretty cool, just kind of, and I was a part of kind of, putting that story out there. So that's pretty cool. But our interview the other day with the doctor from the senior director of Samba TV, Mikey, I think that was a very big interview, and they are very revealing, don't you think, with Dr. Jeff about about the numbers, because people are still confused with Samba TV, and I try to translate it the best that I can, but it's like when Samba TV, the best way I could put it, when they put out a number, they're not just saying, okay, these are how many Samba TV enabled devices they're saying they're using their data with what they can use, and they project up for the country, different countries. They use the same tactics, and we'll get into this, Mikey, that Nielsen uses.
Yeah.
So it's a common practice that Samba TV uses. They're not just restricted to just their only enabled devices. That's the main thing. Hopefully, Dr. Jeff made that clear the other day. So,
and the best part about Samba TV, or one of the best parts about it, is that in terms of getting accurate data, they're actually better than Nielsen. I mean, if you read my article, I mentioned that there are hundreds of millions of TV households in the U.S., but the Nielsen's only get 3% of that.
Right. So that's that line in this article. That's pretty huge. Now, this article that we're showing right here, this is on Geekosity Mag. Came out fresh this morning. Mikey was ready, locked and loaded for this article. So the link is in the description for this article. He sent it to me as soon as he published it, and I got a chance to look at it. Now, I want to hit on a few points. I want to build up to that point you just said about Nielsen in just a moment. But so you pretty much kind of, rehash what me and you talked with the senior director of Samba TV, and just point blank, they said, a quote from Dr. Jeff. He says, Snyder Cut beat almost every other movie we looked at upon its release on HBO Max. Just the context that they gave us. People that's looking at they're looking at all these different projects lined up to each other, and I'll put this out there too as well, Mikey, that Dr. Jeff, like he said, he's a big MCU fan. Yeah. So he could have jobbed a little bit for MCU if he wanted to, but he said, no, this is the data.
He's such a big MCU fan. He watched Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But that's when you're a fan. I love that show, but
those are real fans.
But hardcore fans are the ones who watched every episode of that series. You know what I mean? Who got past the poor first half season, we got brilliant afterwards, but he is an MCU fan. But it's still objective analysis. Exactly. I want to bring this up with you still. It's one of the main reasons why I came on here. There are people. Okay, there's two kinds of people regarding the Samba TV reporting that came out after you basically broke that story, man. Because after he was on your show, all of a sudden all the outlets started picking up on it. You really kind of. I will always attach you to Samba TV because of that. But there are two kinds of stories that have been coming out about Samba TV since that time. Number one is that people who are against Snyder, for one reason or the other, like either they never liked him, or they're on the Hamada train, or they were offended by the YouTube issue that he had. I won't get into the details of that.
Right.
And so they're trying to change the narrative with spin control. And they've been focusing on, well, Wonder Woman 84 did better, or Godzilla vs. Kong did better. And I've been trying to restate this as much as possible. That's not the point.
Exactly.
That's not the point. The Snyder Cut is basically an older film with new footage. It's 4 hours long too. It's long,
Yeah.
and
Having a little interference from the mic, Mikey. We'll see if that sets up. But as far as what Mikey was setting up, and he'll finish that comment as soon as we get him back on here. But
I'm telling you, man, it's the Warner Brothers stormtroopers.
As soon as you get started, Mikey, I'll tell you.
Yeah, as soon as I get heating up, they're trying to cool me down, you know, like, whoa, missiles too high, you know.
The idea they're trying to pit, they're saying, okay, we see Snyder Cut numbers, but we're trying to pit it against Wonder Woman 84. What do you say to that?
Well, those were theatrical films that were meant to be $1 billion blockbusters. The brand new movies also. They weren't. Snyder Cut wasn't meant to beat them. So those stories, have the wrong narrative. They're taking accurate information, but they're spinning it into a way that basically supports their own argument, their own biased argument. And so when you had Dr. Jeff on the air, the first question on my mind, even before I came in, is, was it a hit? What do you think? What is your interpretation?
Was it or not? Right. You just put it on the table.
That's all that matters, really, you know, because you can bring out all the numbers that you want. And that was a problem I had with all this coverage still. People were they were giving the numbers, but what did Dr. Jeff think of this? What was his interpretation? Because everybody was offering their own interpretation of the numbers. But I don't want their interpretation. I want the person who did the research to begin with to tell me how he grades this. And and Dr. Jeff adamantly said it's a hit. Yep. Absolutely.
No he didn't hesitate at all either.
Yep, did not. No hesitation. Now, you know what? Court is adjourned. You know what I
mean? It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. That's all I needed to know. You know?
When he said that, and like I said, he didn't hesitate. And again, Dr. Jeff, like I talked to him, you know, on and off camera, and he's a huge MCU fan. So he has no agenda. He's not even trying to put, you know, his agenda or bias, you know, because he's a data guy. He's all about just what does the data say?
Data,
you know Now, one thing I'll say to people out there, like you just said, Mikey, it never was about, is the Snyder Cut going to be Wonder Woman 84, a Christmas movie, or even Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah. Like, I know Godzilla vs. Kong is a monster hit. Like, that's not even a conversation, you know. But to put it into perspective, Dr. Jeff's first visit with me months ago that people failed to, you know, pay attention to is that we had the graphics of Falcon and Winter Soldier first episode versus Snyder Cut. They both came out the same weekend.
Yeah.
How did they do, right? And Dr. Jeff admitted that day as an MCU fan that the Snyder Cut had a better weekend than Falcon and Winter Soldier premiere. So, I mean, again, it's just about the numbers. And, you know, I watch both of them. I don't care, you know, but I like to gauge, like, okay, because Falcon and Winter Soldier, you would agree, Mikey, Disney Plus considers that a hit.
Oh, right? It's a huge hit. In fact, it's such a hit. It's a movie.
Exactly.
Right?
So you know, exactly the fact that Disney Plus was celebrating every week with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, God.
And then, Mikey, I think you can agree that the story of Captain America 4 actually kind of leaked out because the showrunner Marcus Spellman, he didn't want to actually comment on it with the Hollywood Reporter on a follow-up interview. So that was actually a leak that the Hollywood Reporter put out there. But that's how much they consider the Falcon and Winter Soldier a hit, is that they spin it off into a movie. The Snyder Cut did better numbers opening weekend. That's a hit. So I don't care if you want to put it against Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, great. Like, so what? Like, let's put WandaVision against Falcon and Winter Soldier. Why? Like, why? They're both hits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole purpose of it was to beat Falcon and Winter Soldier. That was the whole purpose of it. They're not going to beat their own. beat the same movie. I mean, no one
cares.
On their own channel. I mean, that makes no sense.
I had the same graphic the other day, Mikey, with WandaVision versus Mandalorian. In the U.S., Mandalorian stomped WandaVision. Disney Plus doesn't care. They don't care. Now, UK actually flip-flopped. WandaVision was better than Mandalorian in the UK. But the point is, they're both on the same platform. Why do we care who did better? You see what I'm saying?
It reminds me of Avatar versus Endgame because Avatar pulled ahead of Endgame, and fans are like, "Oh, Disney will get mad." Like they own both. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So that argument, like people out there on, like I said, on Reddit or Twitter, that's trying to spin this. I think it was a 3.9 number that they put out there for unique households that watched the Snyder Cut the first 39 days, which was very comparable to Pixar's Soul and Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. Christmas movies, that's a hit.
Another thing too, on Christmas, yeah,
that's a hit. And then head-to-head against Falcon and Winter Soldier, which everyone agrees that series was a hit for Disney Plus, Falcon and Winter Soldier. The Snyder Cut did better. So what other proof do we need? And again, I see a lot of ignorant comments about Samba TV, and I thought Dr. Jeff really dispelled that. Yeah. They're not just relying on people who actually just have Samba TV enabled devices. Let's get into the Nielsen argument with this, Mikey. Because people, again, they trust, for some reason, everyone trusts that Nielsen number that came out about, over 2 billion minutes for Wonder Woman 84, and Pixar Soul, I think, had 1.7 million. Or billion. So you kind of put it out there earlier with the Nielsen that they in your article too, you said they estimate over 120 million homes, but they only track 3%.
like how accurate? Okay, and I forgot to point this out in my article. I told you this. Nielsen does not monitor people in dormitories. Yes. So college kids are not counted. If you have an apartment, you're not counted. I never get a Nielsen offer because it's they say homes, like you actually live in a house. So if you want to talk limited, that's much more limited than Samba TV.
Yes. And I want to put it out there on Samba.tv. That's their website for Samba TV. I think they track tens of millions of homes for their data. So 3 million and tens of millions. Who do you think has a bigger reach? It shocked me when you gave me this figure, Mikey, because I was like, whoa, like Nielsen, because that's what everyone's been put. Warner Brothers loved Nielsen when they said that Wonder Woman 84 did so great. Because Nielsen, they do, in a sense, track repeat views. Samba TV up to this point, and I say up to this point for a reason, up to this point, they only do unique households. If Samba TV comes out with the actual minutes for repeat views and everything, they'll be very interesting. If Samba TV is watching the stream, I'm just going to say that'd be very interesting if y'all put that out there. So, but the whole point, as you said, though, that Nielsen, that everyone thinks like, oh, that's such a great tool, and no knock against them, but they have a limited radius actually that they use.
Well, and they've been around for a long time, like over 50 years, 60 years maybe. I know the exact. They've been around forever. Okay, when I was a kid, I was hearing about Nielsen ratings already, but Nielsen has gotten complaints about outdated methods of tracking, and I know for a while there they were getting people to put their viewing habits and writing them down in diaries. I know they had the personal people meter or something like that nowadays, but 3%, 0.3%. What is that? I mean, and the reason why I thought of Nielsen during the interview, and I should have brought it up with Dr. Jeff, is when he said project upward. It's exactly what Nielsen does.
Exactly.
They sample a very tiny percentage and then have that percentage represent all of us. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. And that's what data analytics is. And that's why I had to kind of come and, actually understand the methods, because again, there's a lot of ignorance with this number. Like I saw someone on social media, it's like, oh, 3.9, is that even good? Did you see, compared to other films in the first quarter, what that means? So it's a lot of ignorance with that number. And again, let's reiterate, that's not just Samba, enabled devices. They are able to project up using highly skilled data analytics on par with Nielsen, or probably better than Nielsen, to give us a more complete picture of what's being watched. So long story short, Snyder Cut is a success. It's not a limited number they're putting out there. This is actually their complete analytics they're putting out there. So don't trust that kid on Reddit telling you that it was not a success or it didn't beat GVK. What? Nothing's gonna beat GVK this year.
Nothing.
That's a major. Everyone, either you was at home or you got a chance to go to the theaters. If you was at home, you watch GVK. That's what the data shows. You watch GVK if you was at home.
I tell you, if there was no pandemic going on, right, and Godzilla vs. Kong had come out in theaters, no movie studio would want to go up against them. That movie is huge.
Yeah. Huge hit. And it's like, why it should never even be about GVK. No, that's what upset me more about the conversation. It's like, because someone even said on Twitter, like, oh, well, GVK was great. Okay, great for GVK. Why are we even talking about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we even talking about that? That's great.
Well, you know why, Sil, because they're trying to find
agendas.
A bad angle on Snyder Cut. They're trying to find a bad angle. They're grasping at straws.
Yep.
And they're like, well, you know what? I don't like Zack Snyder. I'm going to find some way of knocking him.
Exactly.
But it's totally inaccurate. It's misleading. It's misleading. It's exactly what it is.
And Samba TV is the only outlet that's really put just these hard numbers out with all. It's not just Snyder Cut. They put out a whole chart. And I'm not going to retract what we did the other day. Y'all can go to Samba TV to get the numbers, or watch my last video if you want to get the full numbers. But they put it out against all these other programs. And Dr. Jeff said, hey, for a first month of viewings, only the Christmas Day movies did better than the Snyder Cut for the first quarter. So, I mean, what else do we have to say? So, like I said, there's reckless use of the numbers, and hopefully we can get past that or educate people if possible with that. And so we get into what you asked him directly. You quote this in the article that again, the Snyder Cut, was it an absolute success? And Dr. Jeff said yes, absolutely a success. It did great. That's an objective fact, just based off the numbers.
That's the money shot right there, and that's and after I wrote the article, I was wondering why the trades weren't asking him that question, because as a trained journalist myself, and for 37 years now, I'm educated in journalism. That's one of the first questions you should ask. Why didn't they ask that? You know what? They probably did and left it out. And why they leave it out? Maybe. Hey, I'm not one of those people that believes in conspiracy theories, but I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers had, been doing some kind of reach around and saying, hey, could you, kind of tone it down a little bit,
Let's not say
if you don't tone it down, I can't grant you access to a certain actor, Hint, hint, That happens, by the way. That does happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I bet.
But you see, I'm a troublemaker, and
troublemaker edition. I'm just saying, special brew. It's probably gonna be rebranded as troublemakers. But now, I will say right now, if people following in, we got 103 in the chat. We got 57 likes. Mikey said we're trying to get 200 likes.
Just do it.
So Mikey said, I'm just he's the head troublemaker.
The juice I got here.
So everyone follow in, hit that like button.
One of the silly arguments I heard was that, it only reflects smart TVs. And so, okay, here's my problem with that argument. Are you saying that people who like Snyder only have smart TVs? I mean, I'm sure there are millions of people out there without smart TVs that love Snyder too. So how does that make the information inaccurate? You know what I mean? So, and I will once we get once I get 200 likes, I'll explore that more because I got some gossip to share with you guys. But I think that was an important question to ask him, and I love the fact that he was like so straightforward with it, no holding back. He said, it's an objective fact, straight up. There's no arguing it. Like all the trades and Reddits and whatever, they can bring up these numbers and say, well, GVK beat it. Doesn't change the fact that the senior director of Samba TV says it's absolutely a success.
Absolute success. And so people that's following in, again, we're getting new people coming through. As Rhea says, smash a like for the Super Scooper Duo.
Oh, I like that Super Scooper Duo. I like that.
Is that a title we can? I like Troublemakers too, but
yeah, that's great. I think Troublemakers is the best. It really is.
But I just want people again following in 3.9 million unique household views, because again, we may get a number for the repeat views. I'm just putting it out there in the ether. We'll see if that number falls in my lap. But what I am saying is that 3.9 million unique household views was a success according to their data analysts, analytic measures. It's a success for HBO Max. They really should be jumping up and down for this. Really for, like I said, a couple projects that first quarter. And it ended off with GVK. That was great. Snyder Cut was among it. Now, I want to introduce an argument, Mikey, too, that going into the first quarter, I believe HBO Max had about 17 million active subscribers. By the time the first quarter was over, they added, nearly 3 million more. I would argue that those extra, million subscribers, the Snyder Cut probably helped bring them on board, and it actually helped GVK and Mortal Kombat numbers for streaming because you have more viewers. So it's like when people try to throw this whole GVK and Mortal Kombat thing, well, more people will subscribe now. So maybe the numbers will be a little bigger.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in fact, they're benefiting from the Snyder Cut subscribers. They weren't there before, and those guys, and where are they watching? They're watching Mortal Kombat. Of course they would.
Exactly, because I did. I'm a fan of Snyder Cut, so I watch Mortal Kombat. So it's like we could change the goalposts all we want. We could move this around all we want, but I think the best way to look at Samba TV is look at the week that it came out and what did it do that week. According to Samba TV, the Snyder Cut beat Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is certified a hit. Falcon and Winter Soldier. It did better that week. That's more than enough to be like, hey, we have a franchise here.
Yeah.
But as you said, Warner Brothers did not want this number out that the Samba TV. And I'll say this even more. They blocked Nielsen from putting out any HBO Max numbers for the first quarter. They blocked it. So Warner Brothers, Samba TV doesn't play to these same rules. They're this rogue data analytic company, sort of like me and Mikey are rogue YouTubers, and so it's a match made in heaven.
I like Rogue too. That's a good one.
So they said no, we're going to put the numbers out because this is what we do. You can't stop Samba TV. So that was a good number, everyone. 3.9 million first month of viewing. Don't let anyone else tell you anything different. If they do, tell them to go to samba.tv and double check their numbers on that, Mikey. So very interesting. And as you said right here again, you said Warner Bros. Continues to ignore and troll Snyder fans, according to this article. Link is in the description. Instead of tossing high fives in the fans' directions because of Snyder Cut's popularity, it's basically the Hamada Burgers have a stench of raw BS, according to Mikey said. Clearly, they do not want the Snyder fandom to sniff the truth beneath the sewage of lies, buried truths. The agenda is real, Mikey.
It's definitely real. Definitely real. Yeah. And once you get 200 likes, I'll get some more information on the agenda there.
So I like Rose Kelly. But yeah, let's get those likes. We got 104 in the chat. If you are in here and you have not smashed like yet, go ahead and smash a like button. We're just under 70 likes, and I'm just saying, Mikey's saying he needs 200 likes. Like the stakes have arisen.
I want to address some of the questions in the chat here.
Okay.
So Christian Disciple said that it is the number of households, 3.7 million, adding 1.5 million to its debut. Time to greenlight the sequel. Okay, that's a great post there. So I just want to say this. Any other studio would have said sequel right now. Easily.
That was a sequel.
Easily. Hey, in fact, AT&T would say sequel right now if they didn't want to, like I said, create some kind of further chaos at Warner Brothers. I mean, brick by brick is coming. So
Falcon and Winter Soldier, just put it in perspective. They had, again, less numbers. It was a slight less number than Snyder Cut the opening weekend, and it had solid numbers week to week. And I have a point that I'll make here in just a moment. But every week, Falcon and Winter Soldier has solid numbers every week. And then you get to the end, you got those binge people. According to Dr. Jeff on our last video, he said hundreds of thousands, binged it after Falcon and Winter Soldier was over, showing that it's actually better numbers week to week than waiting to binge for these streaming platforms, right? So that's why probably Netflix is thinking of doing some week to week, because you actually get better viewership week to week than binging. So, but the point with that is that Falcon and Winter Soldier was a hit the first week, and they're about to do a movie spinning off of a series. The Snyder Cut did better, and they don't want to talk about it. That's very odd. Very odd.
It's very, very odd, yeah. And you know what I heard regarding Falcon and Winter Soldier? I heard that Marvel Studios wasn't sure about having a Sam Wilson Captain America film until they saw the results of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's why it's a Disney Plus series, because they wanted to make sure that this story would click with the audiences first. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is really a test run for Marvel Studios. Right. If they feel a property may not be big enough for a theatrical release, they'll put it on Disney Plus. That's why you got Moon Knight and Miss Marvel and all these other shows like She-Hulk, because they're not sure if these properties are big enough for theatrical release. So it's a test run, and so Disney Plus saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier numbers, which are lower than Snyder Cut, okay? And they're like, well, you know what? Let's give the fans what they want here. Captain America 4. like any other studio, man. Any other studio would
That's
just
what you do.
Yeah,
you reward the hits.
Yeah. So I'm seeing all this John Campea talk in the chat here. And I'm kind of curious. What exactly did he say, guys? I'm curious. Like, what was John Campea saying about the numbers? And
we'll let them bring that up, because I'm not privy to what Campea says all the time. But
not either.
But finishing up your article, it says again, Warner Brothers. You've been told, Mikey, that they don't. They don't want Snyder's followers to know that the Snyder Cut was the hit that we're seeing from data that Samba TV is very comparable to Nielsen or better.
Yeah.
I want people to realize that. So, again, because if you're friends with someone on social media and they say, oh, Is 3.9 good? Just go to the website or just educate yourself before making silly statements on Reddit or Twitter about the numbers that Samba TV put out amongst all the services. But the point here is that Warner Brothers did not want you to know the number that Samba TV put out. Point blank.
Yep.
Point blank. And that's what you kind of put forth in this article. Danzig with the super sticker. It is a Hamada burger, his favorite go-to super sticker for that. So I appreciate, because you're going to get your Hamada burger, Dan, and everyone. So it's a good transition in the article, Mikey. You said DC Films has their vague plans going forward with J.J. Abrams' multiverse.
Yeah.
You were saying
before we get into that, I want to inspire people to get to 200 likes here. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an appetizer.
We're at 76 right now.
Okay, keep going, guys. Keep going. We have to give you a small appetizer. I did leave something out of the article that happened because I try to be as objective as I could, right? So I reached out to a couple of insiders at Warner Media that either have given me information before or have said no to me. I just wanted curious. I told them the Samba TV numbers, right? And that's called I told them the Samba TV numbers, and I said, according to the senior director, it's an absolute hit.
Right.
And why isn't Warner Brothers touting this? How come there's no congratulatory high fives? I mean, like, still, you're on social media as much as I am. Falcon the Winter Soldier is fucking everywhere, okay? Disney is putting stuff out like up the yin yang, okay?
Yes.
You can't miss it. There's
they're putting new emojis out. They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff, right? So I asked him point blank. I said, "Look, these are the hard numbers according to Samba TV. Why isn't Warner saying anything?" And you know what happened? He hung up on me.
Oh. So this is a someone connected with Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah, Warner Media, and this person
hung up on you when you presented him data.
Yeah.
Traceable data.
Yeah.
And he hung up on you.
Hung up on me. And I was like, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it, right? Like, what the? Now keep in mind, I called a landline, okay? And so it's not like, bad signal. No, he clicked.
He's like, no comment, basically.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers does not want us to know that this was a hit, y'all. They don't.
No.
They don't. Now, the fact that we knew since the opening weekend, because HBO Max was crashing, HBO Go was crashing, international, in Hispania and all other places. But, Warner Brothers is, they want to keep this bottled up because they're getting this Hamada-verse ready for y'all. That's what this is, y'all. Just saying. So I mean, when Mikey, when he says this whole troublemaker thing and like the Warner Brothers hung up on him, this is real, y'all. This ain't real. This is not.
I mean, all this person had to say was like no comment. But, no, I was hung up on. Like, how rude, right? I'm like, did I touch the nerve here? Like,
definitely. These numbers were not supposed to be out. And just to double back on again, Nielsen numbers. Warner Brothers, they openly allowed Nielsen to track HBO Max Christmas week. When Wonder Woman 84 came out. And this is as blatant. This is the most blatant thing I've seen. You see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, when the Snyder Cut's turn comes up, like, nah, we ain't gonna let you track that. I'm just saying, what more proof do y'all need? And again, on top of that, the number that Samba TV gives you, this is not limited numbers. These is real data. Experienced people, smarter than probably all of us, putting this together, and it's rivaling Nielsen or better. So I'm just saying, don't let no one else tell you that the Snyder Cut was not a success. That's done. I'm not going to accept that anymore.
Yeah. Because, we could take these numbers and say it's a success, and people will say you only saying it because you're biased. Well, I'm not saying it. This guy is saying it. He did the research. He's a senior director of this firm.
But GVK was better. Like, why are we talking about it? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Can two shows be good at the same time? Is that possible? Good.
Well, see, the issue with Godzilla versus Kong is that it did well, but believe me, AT&T is not happy so because they left money on the table with that film. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, the pandemic is still happening. Their investors want to get money, and they're in debt. Yeah, I can see why. Right here,
Olaf, expound on what you're talking about, or go do some research, or just expound on what you're talking about. Because I'm not accepting no spin in this chat today at all. Okay, if you're gonna come with some BS, I don't know if that's what he's trying to do. But all I'm saying, we talked to the senior director of Samba TV, and we put it together with the information that Nielsen puts out, and everything else. So you tell me what you're seeing with that. So I'm just saying, but let's get into. Go ahead, Mikey.
Sure. Yeah. Once he started giving you the numbers when we were on the air, I was like, you know what? I love these numbers, but you know what? So I was thinking, once I put the numbers out and I call it a success, people are going to try and discredit me, saying, "Yeah, but you're biased." So you know what? I pray to God I get a quote from this guy saying it's a success. When he dropped it, I said, "Yep, boom." Got Mike, walks away. You know what I mean? Explosion in the background.
If people really want to know, I mean, Mikey said, I would say you got more interested in the fandom after you met me.
Yeah, I did.
I just want to, put it out there. If people,
you are the heart of the fan. You are the heart of the fandom. So.
Well, one of many. There's a lot of people that's not as vocal, as me, as far as social media, YouTube. But very vocal on Twitter. There's a lot of people very vocal on Twitter and Facebook. So I'm just a part of that, right? And so once I met Mikey, my whole goal was like, okay, Mikey has an outlet. I know he was a accredited scooper out there just with my research. So I was like, if I could show him the good side of the fandom, maybe he can see, that there's something there, right? And so you say you subscribe to HBO Max just for the Snyder Cut, right?
That's the only reason why I like Tom and Jerry. Come on. Actually, if I had subscribed to Tom and Jerry, I would be able to see it beforehand, right? So the irony of it all, right? But,
so it's funny. So I'm not taking no biased BS comments or people saying, "Oh, but what about this loophole?" No, it's over. That whole all that is over. We had the main guy that did the data analytics, who's an MCU fan, and he told y'all live that the Snyder Cut was a success. So I'm not buying it.
How much more truth do you need, right? I mean, seriously.
I'm not going to buy it. It's like I'm just going to call it BS. As soon as you say anything, and that includes our friend Matt Jarbo. I had a little dust up with him on Twitter about it. A fun dust up, albeit. But he tried to throw in, what about GVK? I was like, Matt, come on, Matt. Like, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? But the whole point is that it was a success amongst its peers, and that normally warrants a follow-up. That's the whole point. We felt that before this point. Now we have data that can show that. So that's the whole point. So Rhea says right here, Samba is one of the only sources of truth, probably the only, we can form any conclusions from U.S. viewership and UK. They put UK numbers out as well. We can scrutinize the sample integrity, but without other reports to corroborate. Otherwise, it's a moot point. The cool thing about this, Ray, is that, again, it's that scale-up option, and Mike will be right back in a second. It's a scale-up option or the tactic that Samba TV uses. So they're not just limited to just their own devices. And according to what Mikey is saying, Nielsen does the same tactics, but everyone accepts Nielsen's numbers, but Samba TV has a greater radius of what they track, and people want to doubt their numbers. So the agenda is real. I'm not accepting anyone saying that these numbers are limited going forward. Danzig, what's up? Smash that like button. Mikey is trying to get something ready for y'all. We're at 85 likes, right? So normally 85 likes is a good thing. But today, Mikey set to go at 200 likes. I don't know what he has planned. Like, I'm just going to be really honest with y'all. I have no idea what Mikey has planned to tell y'all. Once y'all hit 200 likes, we're at 85. We got 130 in the chat. So, hey, if everybody in the chat right now,
it's trouble as usual.
So we never know. So smash it. What's up, Sean? Patreon, Sean. I tell you, Mikey, I did my Patreon, right? And I try to put like production information and things that I come across with filming windows, castings, synopsis, really cool stuff on my Patreon. The link's in the description. And it's been growing this past month. So it's been really cool. And Mikey, I'm thinking about doing like an exclusive video just for the Patreons, and maybe I'll get you involved with that.
Of course, yeah, definitely. That sounds great.
I think that'd be really fun to kind of give them that access because they're directly supporting my platform, through the Patreon. It helps pay the internet bill, But so shout out to everyone. So Mikey, so like I said, you had to step away for a minute. We're just kind of reiterating again. We're not accepting any. At least I'm not accepting any spin at all. This is hard data, unbiased. It doesn't fit my argument. Yes, it does fit my argument. So I'm going to milk it, for what it is. But I'm not accepting anyone to spin this anyway. But that it was a success. And is not limited. So, according to what you said, to finish out your article, that is in the chat at geekositymag.com, and the link is in the description. It says DC Films would rather gamble on the uncertain future instead of giving fans what they truly seek. AT&T, on the other hand, is what you're saying, are silent parental figures who sees these results and will take action. What are we saying here, Mikey? So I said we know the Sarnoff and the Hamada train. They're not trying to do nothing, but you are saying, hey, AT&T is going to take action. What do we mean by that?
Well, let's just say that there are plans ahead. I will leave it there. There are plans ahead. But it goes with my brick by brick strategy that I've been discussing in the past. AT&T is very pleased. I reached out to them numerous times already. Because before I got the Samba TV results, they're very pleased with how it did. Mm-hmm. It did exceed their expectations.
So they knew already. They knew what Samba TV knew already.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We have to stop the spin. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Godzilla vs. Kong, come on. They're not even in the same league. You're talking an old film versus a brand new movie. Okay, so it has new footage, but it's still an old film.
Right.
You have to look at it from the point of view of the general public. The general public isn't aware of all the nuts and bolts of the Snyder Cut. They're not aware of it. All they know it's kind of a new version of the same movie, right? That's all they know. Right. They're not as informed as us. They don't have time to go through all the geek sites, and they're not hardcore fans. And you need the general public to watch this film. And they did, and they watched it in droves, and they loved it. The word of mouth. You remember the chart that, actually it's on the website too, that Samba TV gave us, where Snyder Cut was going up a straight line.
Right. That's like another stratosphere right there.
Look at that chart, man.
That's not normal.
That's not normal.
And what they equated to, Mikey, word of mouth, right?
Word of mouth, and he said it himself. He said, it's word of mouth because
Dr. Jeff said it.
Just to inform those who don't know, when a film is released theatrically, the two most important days are Friday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because Friday, you want a big opening day and to show that, hey, this film was hot. Okay?
Right.
It's a combination of bragging rights, but it also helps the momentum of the film. Now, The second most important day is Sunday. And why is that? Because that means the word of mouth on Friday and Saturday was so good that Sunday, blew up as well. And that's how you project the future of a film at the box office. If you go to Box Office Guru and those sites like that,
I use Box Office Mojo as my go-to.
Mojo, yeah. They'll project the weekend, on the first day. They can project it already. Like, okay, it made 80 million on Friday, and it'll probably do, 30 million or 40 million on Sunday, on its way to like 300 million or whatever. They can project it pretty accurately too. I've always used them. So,
right.
Look at the Snyder Cut there. It goes up, up, and up.
That's that blue line, right? So it's in chat. No, that bottom line, the blue line's the Snyder Cut. So, like you just said, because I hope people are just paying attention when Mikey is telling y'all about the industry right now, right? That first day, Wonder Woman 84 had that top line, the pink line. That was like a typical blockbuster Friday, right? They were going up and looked good that first day. And then word of mouth pretty much killed the buzz for Wonder Woman 84 by the end of the second day. According to this chat, if we're going to equate box office to streaming, but that is what we're doing. Is it apples or oranges? Probably, but still, pandemic theater. This is all we have right now is streaming. So the word of mouth was dead by day 3, which Mikey says that's the most important day, well, the second most important day in box office. The Snyder Cut is unheard of. Now, before I even get to that with the Snyder Cut, BVS probably looked like that Wonder Woman 84 line. Back in 2016. You see what I'm saying? Word of mouth. This is what we're talking about, y'all. And y'all know I'm the hugest fan of BVS and the entire DCEU up to this point. So, but Ultimate Cut is the way to go. But the whole point is that word of mouth did kill BVS in the box office. Plus, they pulled it out of China early. That's why I fell short of $1 billion. But the Snyder Cut, y'all, that's unheard of. Seeing something word of mouth by the third day is still going up. That's almost unheard of unless you have like a Black Panther, like possibly Aquaman. I would say probably international help that. But you're talking about word. You're talking about buzz. You're talking about this is a phenomenon by day 3 for word of mouth. That's what the Snyder Cut did, y'all. So, let's address the super chat real quick. Dan Zig, our man Dan, with the £4.99 super chat. He says, so later this month, month of May, we have Army of the Dead, and in the autumn, we have fan screenings of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's going to be hard to suppress Zack talking about it. These Samba TV, I'm going to just go on a limb. Someone's going to ask Zack about these Samba TV numbers because there's nothing else like this out there right now. What Samba TV put out. I think it's going to reach the ears. You see the trades didn't pick it up. You see how the trades picked up the narrative. Wonder Woman 84 did better. Y'all saw that. Who's picking up? And again, I'm talking about Deadline. I'm talking about Variety. I'm talking about all the trades. They picked up this whole narrative that the Wonder Woman 84 did better than the Snyder Cut. But then Samba TV comes out with fresh data. I don't see no trade picking this story up. So the agenda is real.
Well, here's another issue I have with Wonder Woman 84 doing better than Snyder Cut. Well, Wonder Woman did much better than Justice League as well. I mean, so naturally it would do better than the Snyder Cut because, again, we're talking about the general public here. They don't know. And so
crazy.
The pent up anticipation for the Wonder Woman sequel was bigger. That made much more money than Justice League. People were dying to see the sequel. Again, it's a brand new film, and it's not even like 4 hours long. So
there's so many things going against the Snyder Cut, right, Mikey? That it was, like you said, 4 hours long. It was, it was some reused footage or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't. We see now that Josh Whedon actually tried to use a blueprint of Zack Snyder's storyline, but he just kind of put a lot of BS in the middle of it. You see what I'm saying? But now we see 4 hours long. Zack promoted himself. Warner Brothers didn't. Like today, Mikey, I don't know if you're aware on social media, Army of the Dead really had a big, fan event, tweeting about Army of the Dead, promoting the hype for Netflix, and Netflix stepped in and put out new posters to kind of help the fan event along, right? Like, if only they would have did that for Zack for the Snyder Cut, right? So, so amazing the difference of people. And Zack came out recently and said, "Hey, Warner Brothers don't want to work with him." He's been saying it the whole time. The whole people aren't taking something, like he said something new yesterday where they don't want to work. Zack's been saying Warner Brothers does not want to work with him, but Mikey has been hearing AT&T still has interest in Zack. Is that still true?
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. AT&T they're very similar to what I've been saying about The Rock. The Rock has been quiet, but he's a man of action. He's not going to say restore the Snyderverse. He's gonna restore it. This is what he's gonna do. He's gonna do something. But there is a gag order though, preventing him from saying anything.
Real.
Right now. I know Ed Lauder wrote that story, and it is accurate. There is a gag order, and I'll get into that once we get 200 likes.
Yeah, right now we're at 101 likes currently. We have 139 in the chat. So I mean, I'm a simple guy, I got through algebra like 2 or 3. I'm not sure, but I'm just if I see 130, if I see 130 in the chat, I should see 130 likes. I'm just putting it out there, right? But
I think you word for it.
We got Freddie Lauder in the chat. Edward Lauder's brother. Freddie, he actually made an actual Hamada burger. Mike.
No way.
If you saw the video. Freddie made, and it looked good. Well, Freddie made it looked really good.
That same can't be 6 per hour, man.
So it's pretty rough right there. But hey, Freddie, shout out to Freddie, Super Team Megaforce, and everyone.
Awesome Hour Man prize.
Awesome Hour Man prize. So amazing. So, I mean, again, this spin, Mikey, and you kind of touched on this, but this is unprecedented that to try to bury a hit. Like now we know the Snyder Cut is a hit, and again, there's still a lot of ignorant comments on social media who doesn't know what these numbers really mean. I encourage, again, if someone says, "Hey, is this good?" Tell them go to Samba.tv. Just tell them to go to the website.
I was thinking of writing an article about Godzilla versus Kong versus Snyder Cut is irrelevant. But I mean, it's tiring, man. It's tiring hearing that argument because it's so bogus.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. I mean, it's like comparing Ricky Henderson to Barry Bonds. You know what I mean? They're both different players.
Baseball fans out there.
Yeah, and they had different goals in mind.
Well, Henderson was a leadoff man, right? If I remember,
leadoff man, one of the
from my
greatest
baseball
video
game,
the greatest base stealer of all time, and then Barry Bonds, a home run king. So
exactly,
totally different.
It's different.
Totally
different levels to this.
Snyder Cut wasn't there to dominate HBO Max. They were there to kick Disney Plus in the ass, and they did.
So this data. People got to ask themselves. And again, we have 109 likes. We have about 150 in the chat. So hey, let's get this up. Mikey's trying to give y'all something today. I have no idea what he's gonna say.
He really doesn't. I haven't told him.
I have no idea. Yeah, so I want to hear it. I'm gonna hear it one way or the other. It's gonna be live, or it's gonna be after this camera goes off. but the agenda is real.
Danzig here putting with a great point. Well, you can get notice if you have negative opinion on the Snyderverse. It's classic attention seeking for relevance, or even worse, pay per clicks. You're right, man. You're right.
Exactly what it is. And that's what I want people to realize too. Is like if you saw the trades covering Samba TV when it fit their narrative, when it said, "Oh, it had a worse start than Wonder Woman 84." Well, Samba TV showed you the chart as well. That yes, Wonder Woman 84 had a better start first day, but by that third day, the Snyder Cut was going up. Wonder Woman 84 was flatlining. right? By the same data they tried to say, that Wonder Woman 84 did better. So you see the agenda. You see no one's picking up the Samba TV story. We'll give them the Monday.
I want to swing back to what you were saying there. Could you repeat that again? I want to make sure I got your exact.
Well, as far as how the trades picked up, how Wonder Woman 84 beat Snyder Cut opening weekend.
Yeah.
But no one's picking up this story. Like I said, we got to give them to the news cycle probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But no one's picking up that Samba TV actually has numbers supporting. The Snyder Cut was tracking up better.
Yeah.
Word of mouth was better, I should say.
Yeah. That's the key word I want to use. Word of mouth. Okay. When people see that chart that you pulled up, right? They're again spin control, right? They're gonna say, well, look, Wonder Woman 84 did better than Snyder Cut. You're missing the point of that chart, okay? Because any real film box office analyst will tell you the second most important part of that chart is the word of mouth. Because word of mouth is longevity, okay? I mean, Wonder Woman 84 having a great opening weekend is not enough. How long will it remain successful? Because AT&T is not looking at one great weekend, hey, wonderful. No, they're looking at the long term. Like, look at The Mandalorian, man. People love it so much, they keep going back and watching it again, right? People are binge watching it. They're getting more subscribers for it. They look at for longevity because streaming is not about opening weekend. It's about longevity. And Wonder Woman 84, okay, yeah, so it had a better opening, but who's going to last longer? Are people still watching that movie? No, they're not.
According to that chart, we know who's lasting longer with word of mouth, right? So
word of mouth. Because look,
it's all about numbers.
Dawn of Justice, okay? That opening weekend, it took a huge dive on the, I don't know what the exact percentage drop was. I think it's one of the biggest percentage drops of all time.
It was like 60+%.
It was bad. It was bad. And believe me, I was hearing from Warner people back then. They were freaking out, man. They were like, oh my God, no.
I bet.
And they knew the ship was sinking. But the word of mouth on Snyder Cut is massive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I mean we point to this chart.
Yeah. Network dreams of that, having that kind of.
that was
Yeah, people missed the point. So yeah, look at that. I'm not paying attention that Wonder Woman 84 is higher because it was going to be higher. But I'm looking at it's dipping.
Yeah.
On the third day. That's not good.
That's not good. That shows that everyone that was pretty much was going to see it saw it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And any general audience heard that it wasn't that good. So they didn't bother to watch it.
Yeah, they're probably like, "Hey, there's no '80s music in here. Fuck this."
Exactly. So if you realize this article, first off, Samba.tv is the most direct way to get this data, but also the link is in the description for the Geekosity article that Mikey put out that has this chart credited to Samba TV. Yeah. That top line is Wonder Woman 84, the pink line, which is flatlining by day 2. And the Snyder Cut is that blue line that's shooting up to the stratosphere because of word of mouth. So that's probably the biggest reveal we got the other day, Mikey, about this success of the Snyder Cut. And I want to address the super chat real quick for Dan. The £1.99 says, "Is Snyderverse a contingency plan if Hamada falls?" Mikey, what's your thoughts with that?
That's a great question. I'll tell you this, Danzig. If Hamada fails, he's gone. Point blank. That's an objective fact.
Wow.
He has. Look, Hamada's got a short leash. I'm not saying this out of wishful thinking or anything. I don't wish upon anybody losing their job. I don't care what kind of person they are. I mean, being unemployed is the worst. But from what I've been told, he has to prove himself fast. Because you're not going to be patient for very much longer. They have so much writing on this. Okay, let me give you the big picture here.
All right.
If the Flash fails, it's not just about the Flash. It's what they're planning on having come afterward. You know, they're going to have issues because they don't want to. Here's why. One of the reasons why they weren't confident with Zack Snyder because Dawn of Justice did make $1 billion. Okay, but they went ahead with Justice League anyway, and that did even much worse. So it's not Snyder's fault, and he got the blame for it. But they don't want to make the same mistake if the Flash fails of still going forward with the plan.
Right.
If the Flash fails, that plan is gone. Say goodbye.
It's over. Yeah.
Goodbye. Anything that J.J. Abrams not involved in, say goodbye. Well, except for the Batman, that's still happening.
Right.
But again,
Flash has to succeed.
The two key movies here are the Flash and the Batman, and both have to succeed.
So we have Uche in the chat. I much respect to Uche and the crew. They had Zach for that fundraising event that we kind of.
I saw that. Yeah, hi.
I know that fundraising. Did a lot of good, and that's where I kind of focus on with anyone. And shout out to we got Ryan Kennel, people that's kind of part of that crew. They're Snyder fans, and that's I start with as general as possible, Mikey. Are we fans?
Yeah, sure.
I'll start there, and then that's if we have more in common from there, great. What I'm saying? But I know like I said, Ryan Kennel, some of the people in his crew, they supported releasing the Snyder Cut. So shout out to them. And according to Uche, because he has Zach on his channel, he says Zach told him the only way is by AT&T to clean house on execs. As long as Cernoff and Hamada is there, it won't happen. What do you say to that, Mikey?
Theatrically, I agree with that. And I think in terms of getting the Snyderverse fully restored for theatrical releases, those people need to be gone. When I say The Rock has his plan, keep in mind those are his own films. Okay. The Rock can't greenlight a Justice League sequel by himself. You know what I mean? He can have. If he wants those actors in his films, they can't stop him. But if you want a real restore Snyderverse in theaters, the Hamada burgers have to be thrown in the garbage.
They have to clear it out for theatrical. So we'll roll this one time. The chat is saying, that's alluding to someone losing their job.
You about to lose your job. See that thing? You
Shout out, Blue Nas. That's a classic clip. Like anytime that subject comes up, but very interesting. So just according to because like I said, Uche, he's a big supporter of releasing Snyder Cut and restore the Snyderverse. And he talked with Zach directly, and he's saying as far as those execs have to get out of the way. You're saying just to kind of add to what he's saying, but that that's for the theatrical portion.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the Snyderverse. We still can get that brick by brick streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's supportive comments. Yeah.
That's not going to go away. I mean, the issue that the execs have about restoring the Snyderverse is that they don't want to give Zack the keys to the car anymore. Okay, that's really the main point here. But streaming is a whole different matter entirely. But I mean, in terms of restoring the Snyderverse, it depends on how you look at it. Do you feel that the Snyderverse won't be restored until you see a JL sequel in the theaters? Okay, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen until Hamada is out of there. Okay, and asparagus.
The whole clown table.
What I'm trying to point out, though, are certain paths forward. Okay, because there are loopholes. Because not everything is black and white. You know what I mean?
Right.
This whole thing is gray.
It's a lot of gray to this.
Justice
is gray, Mikey.
Well, look at Lucasfilm, right? They said they weren't going to do anything expanded universe, right? Well, what is Thrawn? What is Thrawn doing there?
Oh yeah, they literally was taking stuff from
But you know what? Check this out though. See, Thrawn is on Disney Plus. He's not a theatrical release. You see, so yeah, again, very similar. You have this kind of. I say Warner is much worse than Lucasfilm though, and I've heard that's a fact. It's much worse than Lucasfilm.
At least Lucas kind of learned a little bit. I would say a little.
Yeah.
Little bit.
But they mentioned Thrawn and the Mandalorian. That's expanded universe stuff.
Yep.
And they said they weren't going to do EU stuff. Well, hello.
Very clear that they did. First, real quick, Mikey. We have 110 likes.
190
right
more
now. Now we have about 160 in the chat right now. So, like, I'm just saying. We should have about 150 likes right now. I'm just putting it out there. Right. Let's address this super chat TTC sniping. He's been a really good supporter lately with me and Mikey streams. And 199 super chat says, if the Batman don't make $1 billion, talking Matt Reeves, the Batman, are we talking about Battison or Reeves? So let's touch on both of them. But if $1 billion, if it doesn't do $1 billion, because it better, I'm just saying this right now. Is someone gone?
If the Batman doesn't make $1 billion, it depends on how much it makes, and the $1 billion is what they're after. Okay, but if it gets close to it, Hamada's still around. Also, I have to add this. Okay, it depends on the domestic box office. Okay, so if it does like 400 million, that's
he's saying Hamada, so the execs, because he followed up in super chat. But,
if the Batman is a flop, okay, the Batman is a big flop, like it really like a disaster. Okay, Hamada's gone, he's gone. And because the Batman, how can you flop with a Batman movie? Okay. Unless you're Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher, but I'm more worried about the Flash. I think the Flash is the scarier of the two, because the Flash is a gateway to the Hamadaverse. Much more. Batman has nothing to do with the Hamadaverse. It's multiverse.
Right.
It won't make any connection at all.
Supposedly multiverse.
Yeah, because Matt Reeves doesn't want to have his baby tainted by whatever Hamada is doing. That's the real story there.
Definitely. So, but because I think as far as to answer this question with the Hamada part of this, that the Flash film is going to determine Hamada's fate. As far as
pretty much.
If it's going to last past 2023 or not. I think that film's going to, because I think even Aquaman 2 could take a dip. But they want to spin off Mera, according to what Mikey was saying. That. So the Flash film is huge. Yeah, the Flash.
The Flash has to be like, I wouldn't say $1 billion, but it has to be just really big, domestically especially. If it flops domestically, they're in trouble.
Wow.
But,
so we will see.
Sorry, Iron Man fans, but that's
so shout out again to Uche in the chat. Again, I support the stream that he did with Zach. It's all about creating good, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on. So I know that's what he's about. So we'll get Uche on this channel one day, right? I'm gonna reach out to him on Twitter.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Get a good Uche on here to chop it up some with some Snyder cut. We got Alex Acera with the 499.
That guys, keep the campaigns going, keep putting pressure on. Don't get up on it, because Warner wants you to give up. That's why they're doing all these things like releasing the Justice League 4K trailer, all these things to like make you believe it's dead. I mean, it is. It's frozen.
Let's go into that after I do the super chat, Mikey, again, because we kind of touched on the DC fandom potential plans that you put out there first before anyone. Let's touch on their plans to kind of move away, as they say, from the Snyderverse. But after the super chat, Alex Acera with the $4.99 super chat says companies are seemingly starting to backpedal in politics is what Carmen Pasha said in regards to is that Kathleen Kennedy's exit accurate? WB didn't get the memo. I don't know. Fill me in on that. I actually don't know the whole story of what he's talking about right there. If
I don't know either.
Okay, just kind of just expand on that, Alex. But I appreciate you always supporting the channel. Definitely WB. I will say they're a step behind any other company out there right now that's doing this right now. So definitely, let's catch with Jeff. But Mikey, just to again get everybody on the same page with Hamada DC Films plans going forward. The DC fandom and everything leading up to it, they want to get the general public at least to move away from the Snyderverse. Like they're trying to make it very clear for the general people, right? Yeah. So that's the plan for DC fandom.
Yeah, and you're going to see if you're a J.J. Abrams fan. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of JJ that day.
A lot of JJ Abrams verse, which is a part of the Hamada verse, right? If I was following that, okay. So Abrams verse has his own verse in the Hamada verse, and you're going to learn a lot about it come October. Only like 5 months away now, so very interesting. So Nahil saying, "Where's my scoop? What scoop? I mean, you're spamming it now. I don't know why you're even spamming this right now, but 1.15 likes. Mikey said 200 likes for some reason. So I advise you not to type that again, Nahil. I'm just gonna say. I think the we have the mods in the chat. I know we don't do spamming. One warning, timeout. You know how we do. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, how many times have you watched the channel? So as we kind of, because I don't know if they're going to hit 200 likes, Mike. I don't know. So
that's fine. I mean, there's we can carry into the next show.
Yeah, maybe next time. I appreciate those. A good turnout.
Yeah. It is a Sunday, so.
So let's see. So we have Prime. He's another content creator out there. I'm gonna get him because he's very into these numbers as well, Mikey. So and he's covered a few of your articles actually.
Oh, he has. Okay, thank you.
He's definitely put a few in there. So very cool of him. I'm going to send him a link real quick, but just again to kind of follow up on what we're saying, DC fandom. The plan is you said JJ Abrams is going to be a big part of it, and I guess he's low budget.
Yeah, they're going to give him the red carpet treatment on DC fandom. I heard he's going to get the red carpet treatment and make the official announcement for some of his projects, like Our Man. I'm sure they'll have like maybe concept art for JL Dark or some casting news.
So Mike, we're negotiating with you now, right? So we got Ken Tobias. He's been a really good supporter of the channel recently as well. He said, "Can we do 150, Mikey? Can we lower it a little bit? Because you hit him hard with the 200 likes, and I know we're trying. It's still a relatively small channel. I hope people realize, but 150. I mean, I would say, Mikey, I would just say I'll use a little pool, and I'll say, how about 125, Mikey? How about 125? We're at 120 right now. We'll hit 120. We'll see. Don't answer that yet. Okay. Let's get Prime on the panel. What's going on with you, Prime? Coming through. Meet Mikey Sutton. Prime.
Oh, I know about Mikey Sutton. What's up? Gentlemen? How y'all doing? What's good with it? What's good?
What you got to say, Prime?
Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of people are really like, how should I say, pertaining to the metrics and the numbers and the graphs, and a lot of people are not really understanding just the real symmetrics of all of it as a whole. Mm-hmm. Now Samba TV The metrics and everything are very concrete, but people have to really take into consideration as well is that see, Samba TV are just looking at the actual metrics of the actual viewings and who watched it. HBO Max and AT&T, which a lot of people are not understanding, is that they're only focused on signups. So they're not looking at the actual viewership. Yeah, they're concerned about signups. So people have to really take that into consideration. Now, those metrics may not like the investor call. So whatever those signups came up to be at that point of that quarter, we'll see the full metrics in the next investment call. So because all those metrics have not came in yet, people have to still understand is that the HBO Max, you're not going to get all those numbers fluidly just as of now. Just right now with the UK, with the what was that just got put out with the Sky TV, where they actually have to where they purchase
sold out of WB UK physical copies.
No, not the physical copy, the actual digital. Okay. The digital, because they just put the Justice's Gray up the actual with that. So those numbers, all those numbers that accumulate, even with worldwide, and then we still haven't put into consideration, China has not even gotten their stuff yet. So the HBO Asia. So we don't even know what HBO Asia and their metrics are. Now, that number and that metric with the international is only the HBO that they show. Remember, they only care about the signups. They're not going about viewership. Samba TV is going by the viewership and the activity. AT&T and HBO Max are not. They're going by signups.
Now, AT&T, now Prime, they do care about the engagement, though, as far as what Mikey, that's what you was told as far as the projection viewership, Mikey. Is that still a thing that AT&T cares about? We still have him here. He's muted.
Well,
go ahead, Prime.
But before Mike say it, is what I'm saying is they care about the viewership, but you also got to remember this too. They're only going by domestically, and that's the thing that's getting me. The reason, and people got to look at this too. They're only going by domestic, and they're only going by theatrical releases. They're going by the box office on what they receive. So they're mixing that and intertwining that with the numbers of the signups on HBO Max, because you got to remember it's both. If the Snyder Cut was a theatrical release, guarantee they would have put it in the mix. Right. If it was a theatrical release. Yeah. So you have to take it into consideration. Like I said again, it rolls back to the metrics. The numbers are not fully in, especially if it's domestic. And you got to remember, even though the US get a lot of stuff early, I'll give you an example. I live in Ohio. There's a lot of people that are they are oblivious to HBO Max. I'm just being dead serious. And I live in a major city. So there are certain places that are oblivious to certain stuff. So there's a lot of people that didn't even know that there was a Justice League out here. It is not, and I live in Cleveland.
I'm surprised the Snyder Cut did the numbers it did, because it's still an obscure thing to some people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people still don't know. So when you think about it, it's scattered. It's really skittish, and it's scattered all over the place. So you got to look at where those numbers really, really are highly at. Internationally, it's absolutely fantastic. That's why I said for the signups, let's go with the signups domestically with the HBO Max and what they're giving out. All right. Right. So I don't know what Samba TV. I got to go back into it. I don't know if they're just doing domestic numbers for that with the TVs. And the UK, they do the UK. Okay, so you gotta take a look of where and that's the thing. With it being 4 million and with the metrics that they got, I wonder if it's all across. Yeah, it's low, but it's successful.
Well, low compared to what? That's what I'm saying. And that's what we were saying earlier, Prime. Like, if we're comparing to the GVK, then that's not. I mean, hey, GVK was a monster hit, and everyone knows. But according to the senior director of Samba TV, he says Zack Snyder's Justice League was comparable to Pixar's Soul and Wonder Woman 84, which were considered hits. You see what I'm saying? Just comparing apples to apples, with that.
Okay, but that's my question. Because if they're on, you got to remember, if they're going worldwide, how can I explain this? 4 million
domestic. Well, what I'm talking about right there, they're just domestic.
Okay, that's domestically. So if we're going domestically, it's low. It's low domestically in their eyes. If they're strictly going by compared to worldwide. And remember what I was saying. So
you're saying, okay, you want the full viewership. You want the digital rentals from Latin America and Sky. And okay, I see what you're saying.
Everything. Once all those metrics come into play and that stuff is accumulated, for instance, the metric and everything is already there. You already know what's to come. All right? Think about it. The physical copy of Justice League, once they put that out, and that was only in the UK, it sold out in 20 minutes.
Right. Because just like
I'm giving an example. Okay, you're going by physical copy, which you have to purchase. That's sold out. That's what you have to purchase. That's the purchase. So if it's sold out in 20 minutes, think about the metrics what it'll be when you just have a service just to watch. Those metrics are not there. So you gotta look at Canada. Those numbers are not in. All the numbers for the UK, they are not in.
Crave put out a number for Canada as one of their biggest hits too. But Prime, I think the main thing that Samba TV did, they said, okay, if we're just going to do domestic, let's scale this towards other projects domestically, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Wonder Woman 84, etc. Right? And compared to those, that 4 million was not a low number. If you're talking about domestic numbers,
right? That's what I'm saying. It did.
Right,
pretty well. If you're comparing it just to
it wasn't the best number, and that's what I try to tell people. It wasn't the best number, no, because I think GVK blew everything away. I actually believe that, but it wasn't the worst either, and it was actually on par with other hits like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Wonder Woman 84. That's the point that Warner Brothers don't want out there, Prime.
Right, and that's another thing. That's another thing as well. And even with Samba TV, even now giving the proper metrics, and they're putting it out there. HBO, I don't want to say HBO Max, but it's like Warner Media. They're not going to take those. They're not going to take those metrics. They're not going to even count those because they don't even want to be affiliated with it. Even though that we know that Samba TV is legit because they have the chips in 24 brands of products. So what they're having with those products, and they are recording these. Okay, the numbers are there. They are accurate. They are there. Warner Media is not going to even look. They're not going to even pay attention to it. Yeah, they're not going to. They don't even want to pay it or even acknowledge it.
They want to move away from the Snyder. I want to address this comment real quick from Uche and Mikey. I want to get you in here as far as with this conversation, but he says Zack, and again, Uche, if people don't realize, Uche got a chance to talk with Zack a little bit. He was on the stream. He did a big fundraising event. I think Prime, you heard about that too, right? Where they raised a lot of money for a good cause. Zack is adamant, he says, that we continue our campaign because at the end of the day, when they discuss these things, they will consider constant pressure from the community. AT&T would, right, Mikey? Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're monitoring all of this, and it's very important that the social activity continues to grow and grow. Don't let it fade away. That's what got you to the game to begin with. You know what I mean?
I mean, with that, and Mike has a very, very good point. But then I'm also thinking with it like this is that even though we can campaign in the community and the fans and just the audience as a whole, and they campaign for it, my thing is that will that be enough to really obliterate the actual agenda that they're doing? Because they're not trying to even look at this. My thing is this: I work for EA, so I know exactly how this crap goes with these executives. So I know exactly what they do. You can have your fan base and your audience can do as much as they can. You can put anything out there, but if they already got something mapped out with a personal agenda, especially with shareholders, those shareholders is a mug. Those shareholders is really a mug. They don't know anything about making anything. All they care about is an investment. So they have to do anything in their power to try to make an investment. I mean, to appease those shareholders. So, that's the crazy thing. I'm just talking about the gamers.
Reportedly, the shareholders were somewhat satisfied. Prime on my last video, I touched on the shareholders meeting, and they elected to keep the entire board of directors on site. They voted because whatever they started, last year, they want these board of directors to see it through. So they made no changes on top with AT&T, which I think is a good sign for people who think AT&T wants to restore the Snyderverse. whoever was in that building that wants to restore the Snyderverse, they're still there, right?
Okay,
they're still there. So it's about going forward to see if they go forward.
I think the goal should be changed as far as fandom is concerned. You can't change the path these executives are on. What you can do is continue to persuade AT&T to take that alternate path on HBO Max. That's really the best thing you can do. Hamada is not going to change course. He's not going to do it.
It's coming.
He's not.
Yeah. This next
you talking about him to change course or not change course?
He's not going to change course. No
right. He's not. No, he's not.
Yeah. So keep encouraging AT&T though to take the alternative path because there's HBO Max, and the Snyder Cut has proven itself on the streamer. And trust me, they need content really bad. They're feeling the pressure from Disney Plus. That's really their goal, is to beat Disney Plus. Or at least be competitive with them because they're not.
And they have been, right, Mikey? With the last few, well, as far as the last big event, Christmas Day,
Mortal Kombat,
then Snyder Cut versus Falcon, like.
But you can't live off of theatrical movies because next year we're going to see them in theaters for a long time before we see them on HBO Max. They changed course already. And you know why they changed course? It wasn't as successful as they thought it would be. And that's really why they would have done so otherwise.
Which one are you referring to? Snyder Cut or Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs. Kong. They did well, but they still would have done much better if they had been a full theatrical. Of course, the pandemic got in the way, so what can you do about it? So,
domestically, it's kind of.
But they're looking at next year. People are getting vaccinated now. More people will be in theaters. It still didn't make up for the loss of ticket sales. You know what I mean? So what they do is they have to ramp up that content, and they can't rely on these theatrical blockbusters to do it. What do they have? I mean, they have all these DC properties they're sitting on, and the Green Lantern. Yeah, I'm sure it'll do good, but they need more. It's still unknown. Like, you're so worried about the whole Ryan Reynolds thing, the stigma of that. But, just keep the pressure on to encourage AT&T to go through with, restoring the Snyderverse somewhat on HBO Max. So that's really the path forward. You can't stop Power Man right now.
Do you think, and real quick, Brian, because I do want to get your comment on this, but do you think, like, the people's interpretation of Restore the Snyderverse, Prime, do you think it's all about getting the Justice League 2 and 3, or will those people saying Restore the Snyderverse, will they be happy with a Deathstroke series, a Batfleck series first before we get to the film? Like, is there two different camps right there in your opinion?
No, I think Restore the Snyderverse is everything was going to wing off everything. So meaning that everything that's going to wing off the Deathstroke, the Batman, and then intertwining it with Justice League, especially with the Flash. So everything was going to wing off of this. And that's what it is. I would be grateful for the Deathstroke because you got to remember, if you watch, people got to understand, in the Snyder Cut version, there's 4 cliffhangers. It's actually pinpointing going in the direction. The Deathstroke scene with Lex, that's going to that Batman series. That was actually the Deathstroke series. Okay. The conversation with Joker, talking about Robin and talking about the Harley Quinn and all that stuff, even with the haircut. The haircut is what leads into Justice League.
I think the haircut's the first thing that should come out.
Right. I think the haircut, the only, right now, I know people don't want to hear my thing, but like I say, I'm into the business element. I think the haircut is more, how should I say, it has a legitimate chance coming out more because it's already done. It's already filmed. All they just got to do is do the little tidbits on it that they got to do. But to the opposed of Justice League 2 and 3 and all that, it's not done. There's nothing there. There's just too much stuff that has to go on. So that's why I'm saying with that, yes, the Restore the Snyder Cut stuff, everybody wants it because it's there. And I would say what will make it even worse is that, and I think the blueprint was set yesterday when Zack put that picture up of Wayne as Green Lantern, showing him that he did it
right here.
Right, with T. Cars, when he had put it out there yesterday. I think Zack is either two things that's going to happen. He's going to purposely put it out there for people to see on Vero. He's going to put it out there purposely because they already announced the Green Lantern. They announced it. Okay. Yeah. So with Warner Brothers and them announcing it, I think that gave him legit rights to go ahead. Okay, well, let me go ahead and put my stuff out and showcase it. Either A, the DVD or the Blu-ray copy of it is going to be altered with that scene, or it's going to be an extra. I feel that it will be. I really think so.
It kind of takes away from Martian Manhunter, right? Don't you think?
No, Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern, all three of them was going to be there. It's supposed to be John Stewart, Martian Manhunter, and Kilowog. It's going to be all three. Okay. So my thing is that if that so happened to happen, that's what's going to make it even greater. So my thing is that the possibility, but it all depends. It goes with this with me. Those metrics. Once all those numbers fully come in with everything, and they finally see it. That's what you're saying. The international with the international, and you got to remember, with the streaming stuff, which this is a true metric. People don't watch stuff on live TV. A lot of people watch that stuff on streaming. They watch it later.
Yeah.
They watch it much later now. You know, and from what I know from certain corporations and stuff like that, from what I know, well, you know, I'm in the game and stuff, so it's crazy. A lot of people, they don't buy the game new. You'll be amazed on how used numbers or later on down the line that those numbers are increased instead of launch. It is it's baffling. So it's the same thing that comes to with content on a streaming platform to the opposed of it being live. People will watch it later. So it's either DVD or you just watch it later on the streaming service if they so happen to put up. I'm a prime example of it. I don't watch stuff live. I got Hulu. I can watch whatever I want to watch the next day or later on down the line. So I can watch it later. I don't have to watch it right then and there. So, I mean, you have to look at the way things are going now, what's going to end up. So once those numbers fully come in, and I would suspect that DC Phantom is in August, right?
October.
Okay, October. So if it's in October, you got to think that next investment is in June. That next investment is going to be in June or July. Well, either way, I think it's June. Am I mixing it up? 3 months from last month? So right. July. July. So the next one, they're going to have all their full-fledged numbers. All that stuff is going to come out. So you're looking at the international, and that's a fair point that Prime brings up as far as the international side of it. I look at Samba TV because of the domestic nature of it, where they're comparing to other hits that were deemed hits domestically. They didn't have international numbers with it. Falcon and Winter Soldier, no one was talking about international numbers for Falcon and Winter Soldier. They just said, this is a hit. We're going to do a Captain America 4 now, you know, off of that. So I just look at the apple to apples of that. But you're saying a bigger picture. You're talking about everything coming in. But Mikey, I want to get you in this as well. Yeah, I'm going to give your thoughts. Right now. Oh, go ahead. Say it again. How many likes do you have? We are 140. So Mikey, so what I'm seeing with the chat, right? They was not ready for this lofty goal, right? But they were used to 100. They got probably a little comfortable, right? I'm probably next show we'll say 120. Can we give them something because we're at 140 and we're going to get because as we close this out.
Exactly, yeah. In fact, I was about to say, hold on. Am I back?
Give something. Yeah, you're in there, but Ignacio with the super sticker, $5 super sticker. It's let's see. He has someone blowing a trumpet. Okay, that's cool. I guess he's liking what we're saying, so I appreciate you.
Well, it is a Sunday, so I totally understand.
Yeah, it's all good. 120 next time, y'all. Just be prepared next time.
No, I was going to say that at 140, I was going to go ahead and drop it. Just so
okay, yeah, we're 140.
All of you are just really doing very well, and we're in a good groove here.
Yeah. So, shout out to y'all.
So before I have to leave in a few, I just wanted to. That's why I wanted to ask you so I can discuss a few things, including what I was intending on doing when we hit the goal. So thanks to all of you for getting it to 140. I mean, that's a really good number though. Yeah, on a Sunday afternoon,
live is all good.
Yeah, without much promotion. So, first thing I want to bring up is that from what I've heard the past few days, is that Warner Media did not want the numbers to get out about the Snyder Cut because they're worried that it would take away interest from their upcoming projects, which are not connected to it. That's a really great concern for them. That people aren't going to be interested in DC films that are not related to the Snyderverse. It's a growing concern, and I'm seeing it in posts and chat messages and things like that. There are people like, "Oh, if it's not connected, I don't want to see it." So they're trying to build momentum for this multiverse, and so they're concerned about the Snyderverse fandom, taking away the interest towards Hourman and Zatanna and all these other projects that they have coming up. Probably most likely will flop. I'm sorry, but
bro, there's no way. There's no way that's going to succeed,
And so what I wanted to say is this, and thanks to all of you for liking the show today. I'm gonna drop this on you. So we've been reaching certain goalposts lately. The first goalpost was to get the Snyder Cut released to begin with. That was breakthrough. You get to get that out there. The second was for it to do well, and then we really got proof now that it did do well. And the numbers will continue to leak out, and in the months ahead. What I'm hearing now is the AT&T is paying close attention to Army of the Dead.
Oh.
Netflix is a serious competitor, which they probably won't be able to reach in their lifetime. And Netflix is so far ahead. I can't see HBO Max ever reaching those numbers, but you never know. But they're very serious about Army of the Dead. Now, what I'm hearing is that if the Army of the Dead does extremely well, you might see Zack Snyder on the negotiation table this summer. Like afterwards. In fact, it might speed up the process.
Interesting.
Because even though Warner Media is not interested, AT&T is still interested in Zack.
So that's still an avenue, AT&T, just to reiterate.
They're very much interested in Zack. Their need for content grows ever larger. And if Zack proves himself with Army of the Dead, that's really just going to boost his value with AT&T. And so put your efforts also in supporting Army of the Dead. Make sure you guys watch it. Campaign for it when it comes out. Talk about how great it is. Blow up social media with it. All that's going to help Zack. It's going to help him. And you never know what could happen between here and DC fandom. It's several months away, man.
So it sounded like Zack has been kind of like openly campaigning. Like up to this point, you got the Snyder Cut, you got his public remarks about Warner Brothers, lack of support, and he's all in with the Netflix. How great they're treating him. This is like all like open negotiations. This is what it feels like. Interesting. So when Army of the Dead hits later this month, it's gonna be very interesting. The conversation.
I'm glad that Mike said that. I'm glad, Mike, you brought that up because people fail to realize this too. Of course, they're going to look at that because they're the ones that sold Army of the Dead to Netflix. Because if people recall, is that IP that Zack wrote, which was actually 10 years ago, and they had it sitting in their vault, they felt that they wasn't going to put no money towards it. Now Netflix then made a franchise. So now they're going to see exactly how that's going to pan out, which they don't know is going to be highly successful. And the big thing about this is going to be in theaters the first week before it actually hits Netflix. That's what's going to be the key. So we know it's going to be successful. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah,
that's not even a question.
So, Mikey, are you saying the Army of the Dead will actually help Zack's negotiations with AT&T? That's what you're hearing, like up to today.
Well, see, here's another problem for HBO Max with Army of the Dead. You heard us in business, right? Where they hire somebody they didn't really want to hire, but they hired that person to prevent them from going to the competition. You hear this in sports and other places. They're afraid of this person doing well somewhere else and then making them lose money because of it, right? So their concern with Army of the Dead is that it's not just Army of the Dead they're worried about. If it does really well, what if Zack Snyder starts doing superhero projects for Netflix?
It's game over.
You know Netflix does a lot of comic book properties, right?
Right.
Mark Millar movies and stuff. Yep. What if that happens? All they're gonna do is fuel their competitor.
So AT&T's looking at that, Mikey. That's
they're
what
looking at that. Warner's not doing it, but AT&T's looking at that. And they're looking at making their competitor is going to become even bigger because of somebody they let go of.
Uche says, do Invincible live action on Amazon.
Oh, hell, man. Can you imagine how big that would be? Dude.
Perfect for Zach. Uche, I just followed you on Twitter, Uche. Hit me up, man. We got to get you on the channel next time.
That would blow up, man.
Dude. So this is interesting. AT&T, because that's what, I understand the theatrical side of it, those execs, the Hamada trained and all that stuff, Hamada burgers, right? But streaming, that's that brick by brick, the restore the Snyderverse through streaming, setting up that Justice League 2 and 3, which appears to kind of be a ways away, the direct sequels to the Justice League. But these limited series, AT&T's looking at the content that Zack can potentially do with Netflix or even Amazon if they
there were rumors. I mean, Edward Lauder had one about Netflix, possibly signing Zack to an exclusive.
That'd be nuts.
He's not going to do that right now because Zack knows once Army of the Dead comes out, he's going to have suitors up the yin yang. I mean, remember I told you Disney is looking at it. He's on a short list for Disney as well, and so. He's going to have so many offers after Army of the Dead comes out. And AT&T is worried they're going to miss out. And look, they need content and they need content providers. Where are the directors and creators, They're going to help them compete with Disney+. Disney+ has a fucking army in the next year.
I tell you.
It's insane.
Man. Don't they, how many shows they have lined up? Like what, 10?
Oh my God.
I think it's 10.
I think they dropped 10, didn't they? It was a Star Wars.
So far.
It was insane. and then there was a report the other day that they have many other projects they haven't even announced yet.
I think it's 10 Star Wars and 10 Marvel. So it's
something like that. It's crazy, man. They're going to dominate.
They're going to dominate. Yeah.
What does HBO Max have, man? Green Lantern Corps? I mean,
that's all we got is Peacemaker.
That's all we know of, right? Okay, JL Dark. I mean, JJ's
is that happening?
Yeah, that's happening. Is it going to be good? I don't know.
This was a perfect storm for Zack Snyder. That's what I see, Mikey. Like,
the person that benefit from all this is Zack. He's got. I'm telling you, man, he's going to have the world at his fingertips after Army of the Dead takes off. It's going to be a hit, but how big will it be is the question. But go ahead.
It's going to be extremely big. The reason why I know, because which a lot of people don't know once the word of mouth come in, but we already know. This is Zack Snyder movie that was not. There's no restraints. They didn't even bother Zack. This is Zack Snyder at his fullest. There was no executive interference. This is all Zack. His story, the way that he wrote it, the way that he intended it, this is all him. And this is not no short movie. This is what, 2 hours and 40-something minutes long? It's like 2 hours and 30.
I think it's less than 2:30. Yeah, I think it's like, I know it's like one of his longest. Yeah.
So it's up to, but you got to remember though, even though it's a zombie flick, there's no zombie flick that's that long.
Yeah, he's saying this is his version. Full cut. Yeah, he said
this is full cut. There's no compromise. There ain't gonna be no directors. There ain't no extra nothing. This is all Zack straight out the gate. So that's the lovely thing. So
that's gonna be great. So I know Mikey, I know you gotta leave in a second here. But shout out to everyone in the chat. We'll address this last super chat before we head out. TT Sniping 199 says, because it's all part of the plan. Heath Ledger Joker, right? So I think this is set up perfect for Zack. I think AT&T, hey, people said, why would AT&T wait? Maybe Zack is waiting for Army of the Dead to make a move. You know, so we got to think about it from that angle too as well.
Like, let's say he's an athlete, you know, he's going to wait until after the championship.
Free agent. Exactly. Go get that ring. Who else has back-to-back streaming hits? You know, you know what I'm saying? Zack Snyder is that dude. So, like I said, just shout out to everyone. I know, Mike, you got to get going. Appreciate Prime jumping in as well. Yeah. This was a special brew. Next stream, y'all, 120 likes. Just come in. We're going to build up, right? Mikey, you're headed to TiVo's channel in about what?
Yeah, 5 o'clock PST. I'll be there to do the long-term speculation list.
On what actually? What are y'all specking?
It'll be all out Marvel, all out MCU today. And
I will tell people, Mikey, people have been asking about that Spider-Man special. I am going to do it on the second channel because that just crossed 100 subscribers. So shout out to the second channel. So we're going to give y'all something special on the all pop culture channel, SYLABDUL.com. Keep following that channel. We'll get Mikey over there. Probably Prime too. We're gonna get Prime over there too. To talk about some stuff. Awesome. And but shout out to the chat. So that's where we can find you in a couple hours, Mikey. Prime. Yep. People are asking in the chat, Prime. Where can we find you, Prime?
Just hit me on Twitter at Prime76, and if y'all want to find me on YouTube on my channel, just type in Prime76. Same thing that you see on the screen. If you widen it, you'll see my handle. Change the set, and then you'll see.
We'll do the. We'll do the.
Yeah, you see it. There you go. You want to find me? It's right there. You can find me. Just type that in. I'll pop straight up.
Appreciate it. This was official Troublemakers. What did we say, Mikey? Rogue. I forgot how we say that.
Yeah, we're playing with titles. Yeah, Scylla and I will have a announcement pretty soon.
Wednesday stream. If y'all don't catch any streams,
that's gonna be hot. That's gonna be hot
this week. Catch my stream Wednesday. That's all I'm going to say on SYLABDUL.
Dropping a nuclear bomb on Wednesday. Just let you guys know.
This Wednesday, SYLABDUL Inc. Later this week, we'll do the Spider-Man on the second channel. A lot's going on, y'all. We got to get Mikey out of here, right? So appreciate everyone. This was a Scooper Supreme. We even have Prime in the building, and I'm hashtag some black guy. We out of here.